Welcome to the Judah Buddha Room. Welcome to my page. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the end of days. People talk on stuff. They say the end of days. They say Babylon. They talk on a lot of different things, but they don't have the energy to be able to comprehend it. Things are screwy. Things are messed up. Things are a shit show out there in this reality. Everything that we have learned, everything that we have known in this reality, end of end of days, Babylon, the fall out of the tree, the fallen ones, the lizards, whatever you want to put it, it is what it is. It's just that the people aren't able to understand their DNA and their bloodline and who they truly are because the inner path has been blocked for a long time. And we, even if there are ones who say they're not mind controlled, they're not zombies, there's many different levels of, let's say, of mind control. One, you go into the religion and what that has done to people. But then you look at this reality and what has transpired over these generations, from taking people away from being free and shoving them into cities and giving them fake gold and fake silver and the false idol and stuff like this. There's the religion aspect of it, and then there's the aspect of people saying they're light workers, they're star seeds, they do Reiki, they do all this spiritual stuff, but in true reality, the teachings were hijacked. The spiritual teachings were hijacked of the universe, of Divine Mother. The Matrix was manipulated. The teacher was manipulated. People know him as Hermes, the god Mercury. Mercury being the one, the quicksilver in the water. And this is all interdimensional stuff. This is consciousness stuff. This is the level of the gods of what I'm speaking on, because when people speak on the gods, they speak of it as being a different place or confusion. I'm not sure, because they're not able to tap into the frequencies of the gods. And a lot of people say that they do. A lot of people say they're mediums, psychic, and there's all kinds of people out there who do different things. But in today's reality, it comes down to going through the darkness of the soul to understand the truth of what has transpired over these generations. One with manipulating Mother Earth, manipulating Father Sky, manipulating the waters. It's a lot of confusion when it's everything that I'm speaking of is within. Because if one is not tuned to the frequencies of what is transpiring today, they'll be confused, because you have the religion, you have this God who they have called religion, let's say, but when people today don't search out their own creation, they're confused. And people being spiritually blind and want something more for themselves, they will look at the outside influence to fulfill their needs. This goes with religion. This goes with the spirituality. But there's only a certain level that one can obtain within. So when people speak on, um, when you talk on Reiki and you talk on channeling energies, people are attuned to this stuff. They have to go through an attunement to do certain things, an initiation, let's say. This goes along with everything and anything if you are a light worker or if you are um, working your way up into the Masonic stuff, into the Illuminati. It goes both ways. And that's the one part where people of ancient history, or even when you get into um, becoming a shaman in the Native American traditions or whatever, you have to go through stages to obtain the powers, just like Jesus had to do. He had to go through stages to obtain his powers. It's not just you know about it and you wait for it, because that's the part of the manipulation of everything. You know, the teachings. You know, people go to religion, people go looking for Jesus. They just go and spend an hour in church and then they leave. They do prayers and stuff and they read stuff, but how do you really obtain the higher frequencies? See, the stuff that has transpired in ancient history, the manipulation of the alchemy, the theft of the divine teachings, the theft of um, the blueprints to the temple, because they got into the temple. Isn't that the storyline? But people today can't comprehend, you know, what this AKA temple is versus all the symbolism they see. Because you see sun crosses, you see Star of David's, you see all of these symbols, but what do you do with them? Are you able to work them? Are you able to gain the magic that these symbols have? Because in my eyes, people are only at a level of Reiki and they are waiting for something more. The something more is ready to be presented to the people. People don't understand what the something more is. What was taken from the Native Americans. When you're stuck in this timeline, you're stuck in this matrix, and you look at all the timelines that were here in history and all of the magic that took place when it comes to the goddesses of the north, or what took place in Egypt and everything. And people can't comprehend magic or anything, um, anything spiritual on on a truth level, because their knowledge of the wisdom, the knowledge, the tree of knowledge, is exactly what it is. It's called the tree of knowledge and it's a tree of life. There are two trees. Whatever you think of, you know, oh, don't touch the tree of knowledge. Yeah, okay. Whatever whatever you have heard of in history or any scripture or anything like that, there's a 99% chance it's all manipulation. There are some things that have made it through as in truth, but when you speak on allegory and you speak on telling a story in a different way, um, that's what all of this is. It's a story of a time that you can't see. It's a story about Jesus. It's a story about Mary. It's a story about Egypt. It's a story about the goddesses. It's the story about the Mayans. But what the problem is, there's no feeling. There's no direct feeling to certain timelines. People say they are this, they are that. But there's between you and between the timeline you come from, the timeline you're connected to, there's hell, there's pain, there's suffering. Because every timeline I just mentioned, there was sacrificing. There was sacrificing and blood spilled and darkness and evil, which came into every single timeline. All of these timelines come into the center of all of the symbols, the center of the temple, into the center of Mother Earth and Gaia. All of these timelines come into now because all of these timelines had to be cleaned up. We had to go through all of these timelines out of the tree to fix things, to put the Mayan calendar back together, put the universal clock back together. And that's all of these symbols that you know of. Reiki is the stepping stone. Then there's the mastery of the universal symbols. Then you can step into the temple. It's a three-step process in today's age. It's very simple, but it takes time because everything is here. Everything that you need to know, want to know, is here and now. But see, all of this stuff of this here and this now and this hippie path and this oneness of Buddha and the rainbow and India and stuff like that is people can't comprehend because it's a different timeline than they were born into today. And that's what all of these ancient timelines are. I myself being born or being conceived through Bombay and brought back to America, born in America, I have the frequency of India. So it's easier for me to tap into that ancient frequency than it would be for someone that was born in America. Okay? Because a lot of people, they don't have anything. They have no heritage. They have no culture. There's nothing left for the people to really understand where they come from and what they are because of the manipulation in your mind, the manipulation of the sacred waters, the universal waters, spiritual waters, all of this darkness, all these shadows, this reality. It is what it is. It's comprehending how powerful you truly are and gaining your power back through realigning yourself through Mother Earth and the way that it was supposed to be. Because you know of Buddha, why do you think everybody went to India? It's because of the frequency. India opened up and the rainbow came and people started acting differently and becoming free, thinking free, because the mind was becoming free. The mind was no longer enslaved in the wars of the past. And that's what this timeline is ever since the 60s and 70s with the rainbow. But the mastery of going back to ancient history is understanding everything, studying stuff. Now, not just seeing the stuff on the surface and accepting it, because that's what the religion has done. That's what this timeline has done to manipulate you. They give you a little bit of information. Oh, here's some religion. Here's Jesus. This is the storyline of what really happened, and don't question it. And now if you go against anybody and you tell them a different story because you found a book that tells you a different story about Jesus than what they have put into the Bible, those people will fight. They'll fight you. They won't want to be your friends. They're the hardcore Bible thumpers and only believe one way. And you have all of these timelines and all of these original tribes that are being outside, who lived outside of religion, as people know of what has happened to the Native Americans. But there's more than just what took place to the Native Americans, because that's part of the manipulation also. Because if you truly found out what happened to the people here on the East Coast of America, it would destroy your soul, because this is the darkness of the soul. It is finding out the truth of what has been taking place to the people ever since the white devil was created. The white devil was created through the manipulation of the DNA in the bloodline to remove some darker skin. Because the people, everybody under the sun, everybody of the sun, is either olive, red, brown, and into the darker colors. The white is of God, is of light, is the white beings of the north with the blue eyes. This is symbolism of the gods. This is symbolism of God. Everything is symbolism. Everything is allegory. The water is white and blue. These white beings with big blue eyes. Then you have Mary, who wore white and blue. See? It's just allegory. It's connecting dots to understand the truth. But when it comes to climbing Jacob's ladder, and then when it comes to the very basics, the very basic knowledge and wisdom of Mother Earth and creation, you don't know it. That's part of the manipulation of people just going into Reiki and just sitting in a corner with their thumb up their ass, not knowing alchemy, not knowing the mercury, the salt, and the sulfur, not knowing your symbolism of the four winds, the water, the earth, the air, the pentagrams within the circles, why, the whole black magic thing. But see, everything is a theft. And when they say, as above, so below, within and without, the white witches of the north own the pentagram, there's whatever. Upside, downside, when you're living in an upside down world and you see Satanists using the pentagram upside down with candles and all this stuff, and you're like, ooh, like they're black witches. But then what's the opposite of that? See, if you're going to do some white magic, you're going to use your symbols. But if you don't know the symbols, you don't know the power. And this is the part of being in hell, with your frequency being low, with them controlling you through the darkness of doubt, worrying, fear, through the AI, through the bombardment of the invisible energies of the demonic possessions, through not understanding. Because some people watch horror movies and people get entertained by this fantasy shit of hell. So grounding, separating, because these are the end days. This is the wheat and the tare, and the zombies are running amok. And this is the end. This is spiritual war. And it's another point of speaking about stuff and people not able to comprehend it when you say, oh, it's a spiritual war. Yeah. But are you able to accept it and fight your own battles and come out of the zombification and come back into the Buddha path or the Jah path, Rastafari, or the Nordic, however you want to, there are certain paths that lead us back home. People can talk on Egypt, people can talk on the biblical times and, and New Jerusalem and that whole scene, but that's all out of the fall. You have to understand where you came from. Some timelines don't have the true story. Some timelines don't take us back home. So when you're thinking of the past and the future, the past is the future. So you think of the dragons, you're thinking of unicorns and the fairies and Age of Aquarius and the water in the temple, the water in the mama's belly, the blue water. Mama's divine mother's womb, the blue and the white water, right? So this is the symbolism. So if you're going within the rainbow and you're trying to climb Jacob's ladder, there's color combinations to understanding, because the colors have to be combined to get through certain doors. Numbers have to be combined. Circles and squares and triangles need to be combined to get through certain doors. Spirals, the zodiac, the animals, combining certain animals, the DNA, the bloodline, the rainbow, the serpent, the unicorn. You want to go on and on? Because we can go on and on. Where's your knowledge? Where's your truth? What about the pyramid? What about the pyramid that they are still trying to enter? What about the rainbow diamonds? The sun in the middle of the earth. What about inner earth? What about it? People talk on it. People know of it. Where's it at today? Can you access it? People are stuck on aliens, looking outside of themselves, seeing the ships in the sky. Have you been on a ship? Have you teleported? Because to travel from this dimension into Lemuria or into the Age of Aquarius, one must go through the initiations. One must die. One must go through the initiations of being reborn through the mother's womb, because the mother's womb is the birthing place. We are in the mother's womb now. It's us being reborn. And there's others who are attempting to come through this porthole with us, but they're not. This is the spiritual side. This is why there is no more shadow. This is why they are becoming more visible. This is why they're acting out, because they are the ones losing their mind now. They are the ones who are out of the tree. They have no knowledge. They have no wisdom. They have no truth. They are just a manipulated artificial intelligence that has snuck into the tree. It tries to hijack humanity. When in reality, God's creators, body, creators, atom, creators, water, creators, rainbow, creators, creation is a higher definition rainbow, higher frequency, higher computerized stuff, digitally mastered stuff. This you see out here is a manipulation. Transhumanism is a manipulation of the Adam and Eve and the serpent, the rainbow serpent in the tree, the dragon, the truth of the divine mothers, the goddesses of the north, the truth of creation. You're just confused and know nothing. It is what it is. So you can take it or you can leave it. Kind of turned into a rant because, this shit storm coming today. Now, this is the Babylon burning. Can you feel the energy? Can you feel the energy? Because people talk. Can you feel it? Because there's darkness out there. And it's on a lot of people's hearts. And there are a lot of demons out there in the human form who are doing a lot of bad things right now. And the only way to get rid of this is the sun. Is when that sun comes. There's many things transpiring in the spiritual realms that people and humans don't know about. They've heard of these things. But what are they going to do when it comes real? When the city burns, when people are sacrificed, or when the dragons come, or when the sun comes. There's things. So there's only going to be a certain amount of people going through this transition. And the way that this is going to work, there are ones who are already on the other side, let's say. Ones who have already gone through the frequencies of raising up Mother Earth and matching Mother Earth's vibration and matching her animals in the higher realms. Her unicorns, her fairies, her dragons. Ones who have matched this frequency will be able to transition much easier. Ones who have not are still outside of the temple, because people need to do spiritual work to understand stuff. The work that has been done ever since 2012 is unfathomable, is unbelievable. People won't be able to comprehend it. Once they fall to their knees and they fall and curl up into a little ball, like a little fetus, because their heart has fallen because of what they have seen. Their eyes can't believe what they have seen because history is repeating itself. The sacrifice is happening. And God's coming onto your heart and showing you the truth. Because this is what people fantasize about. They fantasize on Babylon, on Egypt, on this hell that they have created, the Luciferian fake reality, Babylon, and the many names. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are here today. We are here now. And this vibration is going through the roof. And there are alignments happening that nobody can comprehend unless you were there in Egypt, unless you were there the biblical times, unless you were there in the Nordic times, unless you were there in the Mayan times, and you've been through the sacrificing, and you remember your death, and you remember the feeling. If you don't, and you haven't gone through your darkness of the soul, it's just all imaginary, like it doesn't exist, because you haven't touched on your past lives to understand where we are today, because all of your past lives are going to come to a head. You're going to get the feeling of the death. You're going to go through the death cycle of Osiris to be reborn. You're going to go through that curling up into a ball. The energy that comes through of hell, the fall, the energy of the fall will come first. Then the energy of God picking you up will come after, in a blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye, because it'll need to be taken away from you. Because at this time right now, people may hear this video, they may see this video, but they can't comprehend, because they can't feel the spirit on their heart. When the darkness is removed from the heart, then the people will know that they have returned back to Creator. They will see, but they will not be able to access. They will be safe in an area like they are on the doorstep of heaven, looking down into hell, for the ones who wish to ascend, because the protection will come. The protection will come and protect your home, protect your house, and protect the beings, the ones who came upon this earth plane to help Mother Earth, to help the children, to help Gaia and the animals. You'll be protected. God knows. Gaia knows. And then there's always the dude. There's Jesus. Jesus Christ. A brother from the same mother. So, just a little rant, little story of what this is. So, have a good day.